Hey, it's Rhianna. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about budgeting, specifically for Go Wild 2019 in Las Vegas. How many of y'all are going to Vegas for Go Wild this year? Raise your hand. Probably not me, unfortunately. But just because I can't go doesn't mean that I can't help you with tips and tricks for budgeting for a big vacation. So a brief overview about what Go Wild is. It's put on by Wild for Planners. It's going to be the 4th year. I've gone for the past 3 years in New Orleans, and then it was in Nashville, and then it was in Austin this past year. And it's already been announced that it's going to be in Vegas in 2019. They've already released the ticket prices, the dates, the hotel pricing. Pretty much we have all the information except for when the ticket sales are going to go on sale. So that's actually new this year. In previous years they've kind of built up and like gave us little pieces of information over the course of leading up to the event, which for planners is extremely frustrating because you just want to know the details so you can start planning. If you're interested, I did actually vlog in Nashville and in Austin, and so I will have links up in the eye. You can go check out what actually happens there. But basically it's a planner conference. It's not a conference that you would expect like a work-related conference where it's like really boring. It is extremely social. It's a lot of fun. And honestly, I'm saying I'm not going, but I'm hoping, like, there's a little part of me that's hoping that I can figure out a way to swing it. And by actually sitting down and making this video for y'all, I've got some ideas, some maybes, some maybe I can make it work. Okay, I have done a vacation budgeting video before, and this is gonna be for any type of vacation, however you're gonna do it, whether it's for Go Wild or you're planning on a getaway with your spouse or your girls or whatever the case may be. This is how we budget for our vacations, and we take at least one vacation a year, and this is how we do it. So here I actually wrote everything down, and this is honestly, I did do this for the video, but this would be legit how I actually budget for vacations. So some of the things that you want to think about for any vacation or any travel is you want to look at the cost for driving versus flying, how many days you're going to be there, the food, your meals, any activities, excursions, shows, things like that that you want to see, as well as the pricing for hotels versus Airbnbs. We have done, for our personal vacations, for our anniversary, we have done hotels and Airbnbs. Most recently though, we have switched over to primarily Airbnbs because we enjoy having the privacy of an Airbnb by renting out an entire home, like a small home. Last year we went to Fredericksburg, we rented out a 2-bedroom little cottage, and this year we're going to Orlando, technically Cape Canaveral, and we're renting a condo there. So we do like that, and usually the prices are a little bit cheaper. You're not having to pay for parking or resort fees or any of that kind of stuff. So you kind of want to look and see what's going to be the best for you. For Go Wild, I always say stay on site. It's going to be hosted at the Hard Rock Hotel in Las Vegas, and I highly recommend staying at the site hotel. There's just something about the experience. I've never stayed off site all 3 years, and I will not stay off site. If I can't stay on site, I don't think I want to go, because there's something about being in the actual hotel that makes the experience, in my opinion, so much better. So the days of Go Wild are May 2nd through 5th of 2019. And so some of the things that you're going to want to look at are your arrival and departure days. Now, if I were to be going, so I'm going to do this based on if I was flying in on May 1st and flying out on May 6th. I was looking at the flights. So let's talk about air travel first. So I just did a quick search for airline fares or whatever, and I typed in the days, and then I looked at the calendar, and you can actually see what days are going to be cheaper to fly in and out of. Obviously, weekends and holidays are going to impact the price of your ticket dramatically. I mean, it can go from $100 for one way to $500 one way if you're if you're trying to book on like a high travel day. So for me, I actually budgeted $200 round trip per person. And this was flying out of Intercontinental in Houston and flying direct flight into the Las Vegas airport there. It came to $173 for round trip, and obviously there's gonna be like taxes and fees and stuff like that, so I just usually round everything up. I honestly have only flown about 3 to 4 times in my life, and I don't think I ever actually had to purchase the ticket except for maybe one time. So as far as like how much it actually cost, I honestly don't know beyond like what the sticker says. I don't know how much more it costs beyond that. So definitely I would say like maybe put a $50 buffer in there. And one of the other things that you want to think about is the cost of luggage. A lot of airlines are no longer doing free luggage or baggage or whatever they call it. And so you want to make sure you're looking at all of those things, because as you're making your budget, all of those dollars really start to add up. So definitely include that in here. I wrote down $200. I would probably honestly bump it up to $250 just to give myself lots of wiggle room. And another thing that you need to consider is, especially for Go Wild, there is a lot of swag, or at least there has been in the previous years, and it's been a serious problem with people who are flying trying to get their stuff back. Some people have had to ship back their swag, or they've had to like give it away to people who are staying at the hotel who are driving, or just like leaving it around the hotels and stuff like that for people to take what they want. So you definitely need to make sure that you're considering all those little, you know, pennies here and there, because on the grand scheme of your budget, it really adds up. I did actually want to mention before I move on is the cost of the Go Wild ticket this year is $517 plus ticketing fees. So I would say budget about $550. Now, you will pay for this before, honestly, this is like the end of November. Honestly, the tickets are probably going to go on sale between December and January. So I actually did not include that in my final budget, like the actual numbers I'm gonna be saving for, because you're gonna pay for that up front pretty soon. But overall, I did add it into my like overall budget, but we'll talk about the numbers at the end. So the next thing is your hotel. So this is, like I said, at the Hard Rock. It's $99 a night for weeknights, and then $199 for Friday and Saturday. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 nights, and 3 of those are at $99 and 2 of them are at $199. And then you also have resort fees and taxes. And then there is, at this hotel, which is like amazing, there is free parking, free valet, and free Wi-Fi. Obviously, gratuity for valet would be something that you would need to consider if you're gonna valet your car. I put in, I just picked the dates, but obviously the block isn't open yet to actually reserve a room, so I couldn't get the exact price. So it was about $1,000 for the whole thing, including all of the fees and the taxes. So it was like $780 for the hotel room. Obviously, like I said, that didn't include the block prices. So some of the nights were higher than the 200. I think either Friday or Saturday night it was showing at 270. So it's a little bit higher than it normally would be, but like I said, I don't mind a buffer anyways. So let's just say it was $780, and then there was about $200 worth of resort fees and taxes, and there was like another $100 in miscellaneous taxes and fees, and so it brought it to, it was actually $1,080. And so I just wrote down 1,000 because I knew that there was one night that was almost $80 off. So it's $1,000 a night, and that was just a king bed. So some of the things that are going to change the cost of your hotel are, will you be staying in a private room by yourself? Or will you be bringing a spouse? Will you be sharing it with a roommate and splitting the cost 50-50? Or some people do 4 people in a room, including themselves. They get 2 queen beds and you share a bed. That brings it down significantly. So those are the things where it's going to be personalized to how exactly you want to do your Go Wild experience. I've never done more than 1 extra person. In New Orleans, I went with Jonathan, so all the expenses were 100% on us. In Nashville, I actually had a roommate, and so that was split 50-50. And then in Austin, I went with Jonathan, so again, all the expenses fell on us. As of right now, if we were to go, he wants to go. The thing that I feel like is that makes it not doable for us because we can't put the expense. I mean, I really feel like we need to be saving in other areas, and I feel like a trip to Vegas isn't a priority, unfortunately. But if I can go by myself and I can have roommates, then it's something that's not super expensive. I can still go have the experience, and it's not going to take a lot of money away from other areas that we should be saving. Unfortunately, I don't think that Jonathan's going to be on board with that because he obviously wants to go to Vegas too. So we'll just have to see what happens. Another thing that you need to think about when it comes to like hotel travel and airfare is the cost. Like I was saying earlier, certain days get you a cheaper ticket versus like if you leave on Sunday, it's gonna be more expensive than leaving on like a Monday or a Tuesday. But you also have to think about how much is it gonna cost for you to stay at the hotel for an extra night? Because let's say you have 4 roommates. If one of them leaves on Sunday, you're not splitting it 4 ways anymore. Now you're splitting it 3 ways. I mean, unless that person is just like super generous and is willing to pay for their part for a night they're not there, which I would never expect anybody to do. So you want to look at what is more cost effective for you. Leaving on Sunday and paying a little bit more for your flight ticket and not having to pay for a hotel and meals and all that kind of stuff. Or is it more cost effective for you to stay an extra night at the hotel, have one more dinner and breakfast, and then head home the following day? I actually did for my little mock trial here, leaving on Monday, and because Sunday night the hotel is $99, and then just incorporating an extra meal, extra 2 meals, lunch on Sunday and then dinner on Sunday as part of that. All right, so let's talk about meals. For me, I don't eat breakfast, I only drink coffee, and I will be bringing that with me. Breakfast is a super easy way to save money when you're traveling because you can bring like granola bars or, you know, trail mix or whatever it is, like those little breakfast bars, the Belvita things, you know, all that kind of stuff. You can either bring it with you whenever you're coming in, or you can, once you're at your destination, you can go to a grocery store or a convenience store or whatever and pick up what you need and bring it back to your hotel. So I don't have any breakfast listed. I would bring my stuff for making bulletproof coffee every morning, which is what I did in Austin. Okay, so for lunches and dinners, I actually Googled how much do people typically spend in Las Vegas, and it said $200 a day. And now this is a little bit different though, because you're gonna be doing conference activities Thursday night, half the day on Friday, half the day on Saturday, and then Sunday's open if they keep the schedule the way that it has been in the past. Obviously, you know, I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay, for lunches, I put down $20 per person, and then I put 4 to 5 days depending on obviously when you come in and how many days you're staying. I didn't include food for travel days. So you definitely want to think about like, what are you gonna eat whenever, like if your flight's at like 1, are you gonna have something beforehand? Are you gonna pick something up at the airport? So maybe add in another $10 to $20 for travel days as well. And then for dinners, I originally put $25, but then I decided $30 a person. And there are 5 dinners if you were doing the dates that I said. Whenever I Googled to see how much on average people spend, it did say $25, but it also said that there were buffets that could range anywhere from $10 to $25. And the thing about this is it's gonna be different for Go Wild because we're gonna be at the Hard Rock. In previous years, I haven't really ventured very far out from the site hotel, except for maybe one night I'll have a dinner like away. But honestly, this hotel had like 10 different restaurants. They had everything from like little smoothie shops where you can pick up, you know, sandwiches, to really high-end steakhouses. I looked at a couple of the menus. There's Culinary Dropout, which I just checked out in Austin. They have really great food. Of course, the pricing is gonna be a little high for things, but I think if you're going, like if you go to one of the restaurants and you get like a sandwich or like a flatbread pizza or something like that, you can definitely eat for under $20. I will say that to save a little bit of money, you can drink water at your meals. Obviously, most places are charging a ridiculous amount for sodas, and then don't even get me started on alcohol. So I would say don't waste your money on drinking alcohol, but of course, whenever I bring Jonathan, he drinks a lot. So we have to budget a lot for alcohol because he probably has at least 1 drink with dinner, and then we usually have like nightcaps with friends, and so even more drinks then. And then if he's drinking, I'm usually drinking. Alcohol could potentially be a pretty big expense for you depending on what your preference is, so definitely you gotta include that in your budget. Now in Las Vegas, you would normally want to include gambling in there. For Go Wild, I would say probably not, or very minimum. I'm not a big gambler. I would probably maybe take like $20 to $50 and do like quarter slots, honestly, and just kind of, I mean, it would just be like if my friends were going, I might go, or just to say that like I gambled in Las Vegas. But like I'm not a big, you know, gambler, so for me that wouldn't be a big expense, but for you it might be. I don't know. And then the last thing that you also have to consider is if you're going to be doing any Ubers, you want to make sure you're keeping track of stuff like that, gratuities, and also if you're going to be seeing any shows. I personally don't have any interest in seeing anything. I don't know what the itinerary is going to be for Go Wild, and I mean, those are going to be personal things, so you're going to have to add that into your budget if you see, and that's what I'm going to do. If it starts getting closer and people start making plans, like in Austin last year they decided to do a duck tour, and you know, I added that in, and it was like $20 or something like that a person. And so you'll have to adjust your budget as we're getting closer to the date, and things like little small groups are breaking off and deciding to do things and see shows and all that. It makes it a little bit different though, because with the conference, you don't know what our itinerary is going to be yet. So it makes it kind of hard to plan things like that, which also makes it a little bit difficult to budget for things like that. Okay. So that kind of covers everything that I can think of that's important. Also, there's gonna be things that come up, like maybe you need new luggage, maybe you need new clothes, you know, maybe you need a better traveling purse or a backpack or whatever. So you want to make sure that whenever you're doing a budget, that you're not putting yourself so strict and tight and like hurting your everyday budget. That's part of what the planning for this is. You need to look at what's best for you, and honestly sometimes that's having a conversation with yourself and saying, you know what, I'm not gonna be able to afford to go this year, unfortunately. I'll just have to, you know, maybe have a girls' night with my local planner friends, or just have FOMO and cry while you watch all the activities happen on Instagram and Facebook, you know, whatever it is that you need to do. So let's talk about the numbers. I added everything up, including ticket prices, going just me by myself or me with Jonathan, where I'm not splitting everything. I got $2,500. If I were to try to save that amount, it would be $115 a week, and I have 22 weeks left to save. That is technically doable for us because we already save $100 a week for, that's our typical vacation budget that we do. Like currently right now we are saving $100 a week for Orlando when we leave, but we leave for that in 2 weeks. So I could very easily like transition over to start saving for Go Wild. But if I subtracted the amount of ticket price, because like I said, I'm pretty sure that most people need to already have that money or be pretty close to having that money by now, because they should go on sale within the month or two. Usually December, January is when they go on sale. So if I take that ticket price out, and then let's say that I get a roommate, one roommate, that would bring it down to about $1,500. That's $1,000 less. And that would be only $70 a week. So that is definitely a lot more manageable. And so that's what I would like to do, is I would really like to find a way that I can convince Jonathan that we don't have to go together, because it's going to be a conference and we're not going to be able to see anything Vegas related, and I'm not going to have any interest in doing any of that stuff. I'm honestly just there to be with my friends and to have fun at the Go Wild activities, and it would save us so much money, but I doubt it. I doubt it. So yeah, I think that there's still plenty of time for you to start saving money if that's something that you're interested in. In my previous budgeting video I did over a year ago, I believe, I talked about ways that you can save money. You can sell old clothes, like on Poshmark, on Facebook groups. You can have a garage sale. You can get a part-time job. You can pick up, you know, extra income doing odd things for people. You can make crafts and sell them if you're crafty. If you have a social media platform like mine, you can save your money from there and have it go towards Just Go Wild. Don't cash it out, blah, blah, blah. There's ways that you can make it work if it's something that you truly want to do. As long as you have money in your regular day-to-day budget that you can save, there's still plenty of time for you to save for Go Wild. So like, not specific to Go Wild, but I did do a lot of research for Orlando, and one of the things that we want to do there is go to SeaWorld, and we also want to go to the Kennedy Space Center. And so like, I looked at, there's like a Go Orlando card, and it, you know, you can get discounted tickets with it. And so I looked at, is it truly a savings? Because sometimes things, they look like they're saving you money, but in reality they're not. If maybe you buy the tickets online, it's cheaper than buying it with a card, blah, blah, blah. So all that stuff is important. Do your research. That's my bottom line. So tell me about your favorite travel budget tip is. Down below in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button. If you have any questions, leave them down below or message me on Instagram and I will try to answer them for you. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye. All right, here's the pumpkin cheesecake. I ended up cooking it for 40 minutes. It's still